Hi, everyone. Welcome to a discussion on the outcomes of ExploreSA, the Gawler Challenge, and some information on the next steps of phase 2 of the challenge. My name's Holly Bridgwater with the team at Unearthed, and I'm also honoured to be joined today by Stephan Thiel, Principal Geophysicist at the Geological Survey of South Australia, and 4 of the winners of the ExploreSA Challenge, John McLellan, the Director of GMEX and part of the winning first place team, Peros, Bost, the founder of SIG Machine Learning, Michael Rodda, a data scientist and founder of Caldera Analytics, and Jack Maughan, a data science consultant and also a winner of the challenge. So welcome everyone. Thanks very much for being here today. I'll jump straight in with the first question, and that's for you, John. As a winner of the challenge, I'm sure many people have been interested in using your targets. I think we've seen lots of downloads on your data set as well. Could you, provide a recommendation to explorers who are looking to use your work?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Molly. Firstly, I think Paul and I actually delivered a very robust and geologically sound set of targets. And these are based on, I guess, a strong geological and structural background. So the competition itself, the aims were essentially geology-based, where the aim was to find a target and not data science-based. However, the data science modelling and the geomechanical process modelling are 2 exceptional tools that highlight the most probable areas, I guess, for future mineral discovery in the region. And I think that we actually use these tools at a very high level without losing sight of the main objective. For the target set that we delivered, they're just a subset of some really interesting, very interesting relationships in both the Gawler Craton and IOCG provinces. And we are continuing to find little gems hidden away in those data sets. So we really encourage explorers to spend a fair bit of time investigating confluences between the supervised machine learning approach and the process geomechanical approach, particularly in and around their tenements. So I guess with that said, a suggested workflow would be to examine the supervised machine learning output, select areas of interest in specific regions that they've got an interest in, and then compare these with the most favourable geomechanical variables. And what I mean by that is look for things like areas where the rocks have failed, so the failure state of the geomechanics, and look for low values of fluid pressure required for failure and minimum principal stress. And what that's going to provide is that may actually indicate the most favourable areas for rock failure and fluid migration. And the geomechanics, that's a great way to further hone the machine learning results. So what we want to do is highlight exactly where in the upper crust we would expect failure and fluid faulting to occur. And we all know that this is the holy grail in defining areas of high mineral potential. So overall, we'd really like to encourage explorers to get in touch with myself and Paul if they're unsure of what that actually means. We'd be more than happy to point them in the right direction. And who knows, this may even lead into a further conversation about how they could apply this methodology, I guess, smaller tenement scale, which we certainly point towards precise drilling targets.
Awesome, thanks, John. And yeah, certainly I think your submission was such a standout because of that combination of geomechanics and machine learning. And I think, for any explorers that are not sure about how to apply that, reaching out to you and working together would be a really good outcome from them. I might just ask if for all the speakers that aren't speaking right now, could you pop yourselves on mute because we do have a little bit of background noise. But I am going to go now over to Mike. Mike, would you be able to tell us a little bit about Caldera Analytics and what impact the challenge has had on your business?
Yeah, Caldera Analytics is a consultancy that I started after my team won the first place in the Explorer Challenge last year. And I guess at the heart of what I focus on is just making better decisions in the exploration targeting process from just all that historical data that's just sitting out there in all the different state databases, and with a focus on IOCG mineralization at the moment. Yeah, as sort of business impacts. So I guess I'm a firm believer in all the modeling I did. I was really focused on doing like a really disciplined approach, being really conservative in the data science techniques I applied. So I believe in the targets and my modeling. So I actually partnered up with an exploration company, Strategic Energy Resources, and we actually pegged some land in the northern Gawler Craton. So that was partly based on my model. And yeah, now kind of it should be an exciting time for my business. There's a lot of new land being picked up there. So for example, Rio Tinto is right next door, and they applied the day after we applied for that tenement. And yeah, the next steps for my business is really focusing on a problem I guess a lot of companies have in this area of the Gawler Craton, where you've just got magnetics data. So my focus now is really using deep learning on the really latest high quality GCAS magnetic surveys is kind of what is the most interesting areas you should focus on, and not really just drilling, but what should you look at doing, maybe gravity surveys or IP surveys. So yeah, it's should be an exciting time for Caldera Analytics.
Yeah, awesome. And that's so great to hear that you've actually built up that partnership and have pegged ground as well. And I think that's like 100% that what we're hoping for is the outcome of this challenge. So yep. That's awesome to hear. So Jack, you've kind of, I guess, been a really big contributor to the community, particularly in geology and data science, and have shared a lot of your kind of learning journey. And I think, again, your submission for this challenge like really showed, you know, something that was so easy and clear for explorers to follow. So have you had any feedback from anyone that might have used it, or any of the targets that you've generated? And again, how would you recommend people to use your submission?
Yeah, cheers, Holly. So not so much on the targets generated, I suppose, but definitely the workflow. I've had a lot of people sort of just, you know, question little things as to why I did that. You know, what was the purpose behind it? What happens if you don't do that, and that sort of thing. Which is exciting, because it's obviously a very new space, and a lot of young people that have been messaging me sort of in uni or straight out of uni are really keen to get involved and starting to see the worth in it. So as a recommendation, I think the process, as much for me and my workflow was as much for me as anyone else, as a sort of basis to continue learning and building machine learning workflows in our minerals exploration sector. So yeah, I guess just having that as a place that people can go and without having any idea of what it's about, and be able to do it. So yeah, for example, I managed to do it all with my laptop out of my mum and dad's caravan. So it's just to know that it's there and it can be done, and it's how it's done.
Yeah, awesome. And that's so cool to hear that, you know, through doing this kind of open process, you've actually, you know, been able to reach students and get people really excited about coming into our industry as well and what they can achieve. So I think that's a really great outcome.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of young geos as well, so it's good.
Yeah, we need more geos. Cool. So Sam, I guess your background is a little bit different again, and you've kind of come from the energy sector. Do you think you'll be spending more time in the mining industry now? And do you think your kind of cross-industry experience helped you in the challenge?
Yeah, it's a good question. And that's right. I guess I'm a petroleum engineer by background, so fairly familiar with I guess operations and exploration in I guess petroleum geology and oil and gas. But yeah, this was a completely different kettle of fish here. And at the start, it was just a really fantastic learning opportunity, particularly I guess quite familiar with analytics techniques, statistical techniques, which machine learning is, I guess, a big part of. But it was just a fantastic opportunity to learn about spatial data sets and come in with a bit of a fresh set of eyes and I guess quite a focus on robust and assured machine learning processes. I suppose that's what we provide at SIG is a lot of it is dealing with data sets we're not highly proficient in and trying to work together with, I guess, the subject matter experts to deliver a solution. So I really sort of missed that part at the start of the challenge and that opportunity to work with people. But I guess that phasing of the competition, releasing the results and getting to get to talk to people like Jack and Michael. It has been fantastic to understand more about some of the challenges with some of the data sets. But yeah, certainly it's a really interesting space. That the juxtaposition of sort of the art and the science is quite fascinating. So yeah, really looking forward to continuing to sort of build on the approach. And I guess right now it's a case of sort of understanding the engine and the machine learning engine, but the fuel, the data, really building more robust pipelines to sort of ingest and engineer those data sets is something that's a focus now. So yeah, it's been a good journey so far.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's a really important point about, and I think something, you know, a lot of people learn out of the challenge that those robust pipelines for actually ingesting all of these different types of data are so important in mineral exploration, where you just have such a wide variety of data that you're trying to use. All right, so Stephan, from the Geological Survey perspective, I mean, we've talked a lot about you know, helping explorers potentially connect with people that took part in the challenge. How would you recommend that explorers or participants kind of connect with each other? And then could you also explain to us a little bit about phase 2 of the Gawler Challenge?
Sure, yeah. I mean, first of all, before I start, just want to congratulate all the winners again. And we've been really impressed by the detail of the work, the quality of it, and it's given us a lot to think about how we're going to do I guess, the data science aspect of our work into the future. It's been really eye-opening. In terms of getting the connection between industry and the data scientists, there are several pathways. One of them is obviously through our Discovery Day, which we'll have coming up very soon. And we've also enabled that explorers can jump onto our CERIC web portal and just look at the layer called ExploreSA, where, you know, all the entrants are there, the links to the videos and, you know, your contact information. So, you know, we really want explorers to make use of that connection. And just following on from that, we've just been awarded the Gawler Phase 2 project, which is where the state government supplied $5 million over the next 3 years to continue, I guess, the challenges that we got out of the Gawler Challenge. So I think the trick for us is there's obviously going to be quite a bit of data acquisition. That's sort of our core business, where the idea is to open up new areas for exploration. But in tandem with that, we really want to explore more the kind of data analytics aspects that you've identified for us. And I think the challenge for us as the government is to kind of realize how can we make that in a sustainable way. So not just, you know, one-on-one kind of little projects, but we want to create an environment where it's easy for you guys to tap into. So we might want to think about how we make our data really easily accessible. I think that was one of the main challenges that's been realized by most of the entrants, and we're definitely interested in keep working with you. So, you know, watch out the space where I think we're going to reach out some point pretty soon, where after we worked out what kind of framework we want, but we definitely want to continue that partnership, and it's really important for us and for the state also in terms of digital transformation. So yeah, watch the space over the next 3 years.
Awesome, thanks, Stephan. And yeah, I think it's definitely phase 2 is a great opportunity to build some partnerships between GSSA and the participants in the challenge and help, you know, some of those ideas really flourish. So really excited to hear that that's happening. I think it's a great next step. So yeah, thanks again for everyone for joining. This a really quick conversation. I think it was really interesting to get all the different snapshots of you know, how you've been personally kind of impacted from the challenge and the positive outcomes that we're seeing. And I just want to reiterate again that yeah, for anyone that's watching the video, you can access all of the results and find out, you know, more details of all the people that took part on the GSSA and the Department of Energy and Mining's website. You can download all the data and the targets from there as well. So make sure you jump on there, and we'll include all the links that you need at the end of this video as well. So thanks again to all the speakers, and yeah, keep an eye out for what's coming up next in phase 2.